Have you ever sent a good morning message to a man you care about, hoping it would brighten his day, only to feel a quiet sting when he barely responded, leaving you wondering if your words even mattered? I've heard this story from so many women in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. Women who've shared how their heartfelt messages often faded into the background, unnoticed, unappreciated, like a whisper lost in the noise of his busy morning. And I've seen how that can make you feel small, like your effort to connect isn't enough. But what if I told you that a simple good morning message could be so much more? That it could be a spark that's up his heart, a spark that keeps you on his mind all day long. I've spent years exploring the wisdom of Carl Jung, the brilliant Swiss psychologist who understood the power of symbols in our unconscious minds, and the timeless teachings of Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius. And I've learned that the right words sent at the right time can do more than just greet someone. They can stir emotions, awaken curiosity, and create a connection that lingers, especially for those of us in our later years when relationships mean so much, when we crave a love that feels deep, meaningful, and true. Jung taught us that words are more than letters on a screen. They're symbols that unlock doors in the unconscious, doors to emotions, memories, and desires. And the Stoics reminded us that it's not the words themselves that matter, but how they make someone feel. Because when you touch a man's heart with your message, you become the warmth he carries with him, the thought he can't let go of, the smile that crosses his face throughout the day. In this video, I'll share 7 good morning messages that go beyond a simple hello, messages crafted to capture his heart, to make him feel seen, to spark a connection that grows stronger with every word. Because this isn't just about sending a text, it's about building a bond that feels real, that feels alive, that reminds you both of the magic that love can bring, even in the simplest moments. And I'll show you how to use these messages to stir his emotions, to keep him thinking of you, to make him feel that you're the one he can't wait to hear from again. I've seen how a thoughtful message can change everything, how it can turn a quiet morning into a moment of joy, how it can deepen a connection in ways you never thought possible. And I want that for you, because you deserve a love that lights up your days, a love that makes you feel cherished, a love that grows with every sunrise. Before we dive into the messages, let's talk about why so many good morning texts miss the mark, why they often fade into the background instead of sparking the connection you're hoping for. I've heard from so many women who've sent messages like, "Good morning, hope you slept well, have a nice day," with all the kindness in their hearts, only to feel a quiet disappointment when their words barely got a response. Because while those messages are polite, even sweet, they often lack the emotional depth to truly reach him, to make him feel something, to keep you on his mind. Carl Jung taught us that words are more than just words. They're symbols that can unlock the unconscious, stirring emotions and memories that linger. But I've found that a message without feeling, without a spark, is like a key that doesn't fit. It can't open the door to his heart because it doesn't create curiosity. It doesn't awaken warmth. It simply passes by, unnoticed, forgotten in the rush of his morning. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens that affects us, but how we interpret it." And I've seen how true this is with messages, because it's not the message itself that holds the power. It's the way it makes him feel, the way it stirs his emotions, the way it plants a thought of you that grows throughout the day. And a generic message, no matter how kind, often fails to do that, leaving you feeling like your effort didn't matter, like your words didn't land. The secret isn't just in the words you choose, it's in the feelings you create, in the way you make him curious, in the way you make him feel seen, in the way you leave him wanting more. Because when you tap into his emotions, you become the woman he can't stop thinking about. the woman who brightens his morning in a way no one else can. One of the most powerful ways to do that is by sparking his curiosity, by giving him just enough to wonder about you, to keep you on his mind long after he's read your words. Carl Jung taught us that the unconscious is captivated by what's unclear, by what's just out of reach, because the mind loves to solve puzzles, to fill in the blanks. And I've found that a message like, "Good morning, you won't believe what I dreamed about you last night," does exactly that. It's a spark that lights up his imagination, making him wonder what you dreamed, whether it was something sweet, something funny, or something that made your heart race. And just like that, you're the first thing on his mind as he starts his day. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A person's value lies in what they bring to others." And I've seen how this message brings something special, a sense of intrigue, a moment of excitement, because it gives him a reason to pause, to think of you, to feel that little thrill of anticipation. And that's the kind of emotional value that makes you unforgettable. I've watched this message work wonders because it creates what psychologists call an open loop, a question in his mind that he can't help but want to answer. And the key is to let the mystery linger, maybe replying later with something playful like, "It was too interesting to explain over text. Want to guess what it was?" Because keeping him in suspense only deepens the connection, only makes him more eager to hear from you again. When you send this message, you're not just saying good morning, you're giving him a feeling, a spark of curiosity that keeps you in his thoughts. Because as Jung would remind us, the unseen, the mysterious, has a power that the obvious can never match. And the Stoics would tell you that the greatest connections come from the emotions you inspire, not the words you say. Now, let's explore a message that touches his heart in a way that feels personal, that makes him feel truly seen, because a message that speaks to his emotions can create a bond far stronger than words alone. Carl Jung taught us that emotions are the key to the unconscious, that when we feel understood, when we feel valued, it opens a door to a deeper bond. And I've found that a message like, "Good morning, I hope today brings you lots of success. What's your biggest dream right now?" can do exactly that, because it's not just a greeting, it's an invitation, a gentle nudge that says you care about what lights him up, about the dreams he holds close, about the man he is beneath the everyday routine. Epictetus once said, "It's not what we experience, but how we remember it that shapes us." And I have seen how this message creates a memory, a moment of connection that he'll carry with him. Because when you ask about his dreams, when you show that you're genuinely interested in what matters to him, you make him feel seen in a way that's rare, in a way that stays with him long after the morning fades. When he responds, maybe saying, "I've always wanted to travel the world," you can keep that warmth alive, replying with something that sounds incredible. What inspired you to dream that big? Because that kind of validation, that kind of care builds a bridge between you, a bridge that makes him feel safe, valued, and understood. When you send this message, you're not just starting his day with a hello, you're starting it with a moment of connection, a moment that reminds him of the warmth you bring. Let's move on to a message that invites him to dream with you, to imagine a moment that feels magical, because a message that sparks his imagination can weave you into his thoughts in a way that's unforgettable. Carl Jung taught us that the imagination is a bridge to the unconscious, a place where emotions and desires come alive. And I've found that a message like "Good morning, if you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you be?" does just that. Because it's not just a question, it's an invitation to dream, to let his mind wander to a place that brings him joy. Maybe a quiet beach with waves lapping at the shore, a bustling city he's always wanted to explore, or a peaceful mountain cabin with a crackling fire. And as he pictures that place, you become a part of the vision, a part of the feeling that warms his heart. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A person's value lies in what they bring to others." And I've seen how this message brings something truly special, a moment of escape, a chance to dream. Because when you invite him to imagine something beautiful, you're giving him a gift, a feeling of freedom, a feeling of joy, and that feeling becomes tied to you, making you the woman who brought a little magic to his morning. When he answers, maybe saying, "I'd be on a beach in Hawaii," you can build on that dream, replying with something like, "I can just see you walking along the shore, the sun setting, the waves, so peaceful. What would you most about being there?" And because that keeps the vision alive, it deepens the moment. It makes him feel like you're right there with him, sharing in the beauty of his dream. Now let's explore a message that builds anticipation, that keeps him waiting for more of you. Because a message that creates a sense of expectation can hold his attention long after he's read your words. Carl Jung taught us that the unconscious is drawn to what's incomplete, to what's just out of reach, because the mind craves closure. It wants to fill in the gaps. And I've found that a message like, "Good morning, something amazing happened last night, and it made me think of you, I'll tell you later," does exactly that. Because it's not just a hello, it's a promise, a little mystery that makes him wonder what happened, why it made you think of him, what's so amazing that you can't wait to share. And that sense of anticipation keeps you on his mind, turning a simple message into a feeling he can't shake. Seneca once said, "Things that come easily are rarely valued." And I've seen how this message adds value through waiting. Because when you give him something to look forward to, you're giving him a reason to stay connected, a reason to think of you, a reason to feel that little thrill of excitement every time he sees your name. Even if the surprise is something small, like a song you know he'll love or a memory you want to share. Because it's the thought, the care, the anticipation that matters most. When he responds, maybe asking, "What happened?" you can let that anticipation build, replying with something playful like, "I'm not sure I should tell you just yet, but it really made me smile." Because keeping him in suspense only deepens the connection, only makes him more eager to hear from you again. Let's move on to a message that weaves you into his memories, into the moments that mean the most to him. Because a message that stirs nostalgia can touch his heart in a way that feels warm, personal, and deeply meaningful. Carl Jung taught us that memories are like symbols in the unconscious, carrying emotions that shape how we feel, how we connect. And I have found that a message like "Good morning," "I was thinking about that day we went to the park. It was so special. What if we did it again?" can do exactly that. Because it's not just a greeting, it's a spark that brings back the warmth of that day, the laughter, the way the sunlight felt, the way you together. And if you don't have a shared memory yet, you can create one in his mind, saying something like, "Good morning. I was imagining us walking by the lake at sunrise. The air so fresh, the world so quiet. Wouldn't that be amazing?" Epictetus once said, "It's not what we experience, but how we remember it that shapes us." And I've seen how this message shapes a feeling, a sense of closeness, because when you bring back a memory or paint one for him to imagine, you're giving him a moment to feel, a moment to hold on to, a moment that ties his emotions to you. When he responds, maybe saying, "I love that day too," you can keep that warmth alive, replying with something like, "It was magical, wasn't it? I can still hear you laughing." Let's make more memories like that, because that keeps the connection growing. It makes him feel like you're in this together, dreaming together, loving together. Let's explore a message that makes him feel truly special, one that speaks to who he is at his core, because a message with genuine praise can leave a lasting mark, making him feel seen in a way that only you can. Carl Jung taught us that the unconscious craves recognition, that when we feel truly seen, it touches a deep part of us, a part that longs to be understood. And I've found that a message like, "Good morning. You know what I love most about you? It's how you always find joy in everything." It's so inspiring. Does exactly that, because it's not just a compliment, it's a reflection of who he is. A specific, heartfelt acknowledgement of something you genuinely admire. Maybe it's the way he laughs at the smallest things, the way he lights up when he talks about his passions, or the way he finds a silver lining in every challenge. And when you point that out, you make him feel like you truly see him, like you value him in a way no one else does. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Every human being seeks recognition, but few receive it in a genuine way." And I've seen how this message offers that kind of recognition because it's not generic. It's not a vague, "you're amazing." It's specific, it's personal, it's real. And that kind of praise creates an emotional imprint, a feeling he'll associate with you every time he does that thing you admired. When he reads it, he'll feel a warmth in his heart, a sense of being truly appreciated. And you can deepen that feeling by adding to it later. Maybe saying, "I thought of you today when I saw someone laughing the way you do. It made me smile." Because that keeps the connection alive. It makes him feel like you're always noticing him, always cherishing him. Let's explore one final way to capture his heart, one that builds excitement, that keeps him waiting for more of you. Because a message that creates a sense of anticipation can turn a simple good morning into a moment he'll carry with him all day. Carl Jung taught us that anticipation taps into the unconscious, creating a pull that's almost magnetic, because the mind loves to wonder, to imagine, to dream. And I've found that a message like, "Good morning, I'm planning a surprise for you. You have no idea how much I want to see your face when you find out," does exactly that. Because it's not just a greeting, it's a promise, a little hint of something wonderful to come. Something that makes him wonder what you're planning, why you're so excited, what it could be that's making you think of him. And that sense of excitement keeps you on his mind, turning a simple text into a feeling he can't ignore. Seneca once said, "Things that come easily are rarely valued." And I've seen how this message adds value through waiting. Because when you give him something to look forward to, you're giving him a reason to stay connected. A reason to think of you, a reason to feel that little thrill of excitement every time he sees your name, even if the surprise is something small, like a song you know he'll love or a memory you want to share, because it's the thought, the care, the anticipation that matters most. Let's bring this journey together. We've explored 7 good morning messages that can capture his heart, messages that spark curiosity, touch his emotions, invite him to dream, build anticipation, stir nostalgia, offer genuine praise, and create excitement. Each one a way to deepen your connection, to make him feel seen, to keep you in his thoughts. Because as Jung would remind us, the unconscious holds on to what moves us, what excites us, what makes us feel alive. And the Stoics would tell you that the greatest connections are built on the emotions you inspire, on the moments you create, on the love you share. I encourage you to try these messages, to see how they bring you closer, to feel the joy of a connection that grows with every sunrise. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Which message resonated with you, and how did it make you both feel? If this video inspired you, please give it a like, subscribe to Ageless Philosophies, and share it with someone who might need a little spark in their day. Here's to a life filled with love that lights up your mornings, connections that warm your heart, with moments that make you feel truly cherished.